Andorra, the tiny country in the mountains with a big story. Imagine a place hidden away, a tiny nation nestled high in the mountains where medieval history meets duty-free shopping. A country with no army, no airport, and 2 foreign leaders. This is the Principality of Andorra, and if you've never heard of it, you're about to discover Europe's most mind-blowing micronation. First, just look at it. Andorra is landlocked high in the eastern Pyrenees between France and Spain. It's tiny, you can drive from one side to the other in about 40 minutes, but it's massive in scale. Its capital, Andorra la Vella, is the highest capital city in all of Europe, sitting at an average elevation of 3,356 feet, 1,023 meters. The entire nation is one giant mountain landscape. Andorra is one of those places people have heard about, but few can point to on a map. Tucked high in the Pyrenees Mountains, between Spain and France, this tiny nation feels like a secret world floating above the clouds, ancient, wealthy, scenic, and full of surprises. Andorra is the 6th smallest country in Europe, covering only 468 square kilometers. But don't be fooled, what it lacks in size, it makes up for in altitude, history, and tourism power. This is easily the weirdest fact about Andorra. It's a co-principality, meaning it has 2 heads of state who are not Andorran citizens. They are the democratically elected President of France and the Catholic Bishop of Urgell in Spain. This arrangement dates back to a charter in 1278 and is one of the most unique governmental setups on earth. Despite the 2 foreign princes, Andorra is fiercely independent. It has one of the oldest parliamentary bodies still operating in the world, the General Council of the Valleys. It was established way back in 1419, centuries before many of the world's current democracies were even dreamed up. Talk about historical roots. Here's a linguistic fact. Andorra is the only country in the world where Catalan is the sole official national language. While you'll hear Spanish and French spoken constantly due to its borders, Catalan is the language of government, education, and national identity. You want to fly to Andorra? You can't. Andorra is one of the handful of countries in the world, like Liechtenstein and Monaco, that does not have its own international airport. To visit, you have to fly into France, Toulouse, or Spain, Barcelona, and take a winding, 2 to 3 hour drive up into the Pyrenees. Why do millions of people make that winding journey? A huge reason is economics. Historically known for its very low taxes and duty-free shopping, Andorra is a massive economic magnet. Tourism accounts for roughly 80% of its GDP, with visitors flocking for cheaper fuel, tobacco, alcohol, and high-end goods. When the tourists aren't shopping, they're hitting the slopes. Andorra is a winter sports mecca, home to major resorts like Grand Valira and Valnord. The mountainous terrain transforms into one of Europe's largest ski areas, drawing millions of skiers and snowboarders every year. Unlike virtually every other country, Andorra has no standing army, navy, or air force. Its defense is handled by treaties with Spain and France. It's a unique model of peaceful coexistence, relying on its larger neighbors to guarantee its sovereignty. Fun fact, its volunteer army last saw duty in 1937 during the Spanish Civil War. Want to live a long life? Move to Andorra. The nation consistently ranks among countries with the highest life expectancy in the entire world, often exceeding 83 or 84 years. Experts attribute this to a combination of fresh mountain air, high-quality healthcare, and an active lifestyle. Is Andorra still a tax haven? The short answer is no, not in the traditional, secretive sense. Andorra was removed from the OECD's list of uncooperative tax jurisdictions in 2018. They've implemented transparency measures, signed international tax information exchange agreements, and introduced comprehensive taxes. However, the taxes are still incredibly low and attractive. The corporate tax rate is capped at 10%, and the general indirect tax, IGI, their version of VAT, is a mere 4.5%, the lowest in Europe. Personal income tax is also capped at 10%, with the first €24,000 often being tax-exempt. It's now a legitimate low-tax jurisdiction, but its days of total financial secrecy are long gone. Despite being surrounded by Catalan speakers, Andorrans themselves are actually a minority in their own country. The estimated population is around 87,000 people, as of 2025. The largest ethnic group is actually Spaniards, around 34%, followed by native Andorrans, around 32%. Portuguese and French citizens make up the next largest groups. This diversity makes it one of the most multicultural microstates, where you can hear Catalan, Spanish, French, and Portuguese all spoken on the same street. Here's where the history buffs perk up. Andorra is sometimes called the land of the Romanesque, with over 40 Romanesque churches, chapels, and bell towers dotted across its tiny territory. This style, characterized by thick stone walls, barrel vaults, and tall, square Lombard-style bell towers, dates primarily from the 11th to 13th centuries. Key highlights include the Church of Sant Joan de Caselles near Canillo and the Church of Santa Coloma, which features a unique, circular bell tower, a rare sight in this architectural style. These remote mountain churches are stunning examples of early medieval European art and architecture, often housing priceless frescoes, though many originals are now preserved in museums in Barcelona. The food in Andorra is true mountain cooking, hearty, rich, and perfect for a cold winter's day. The national dish is escudella, a massive, warming pork and vegetable stew that's traditionally served during winter and holidays. Another staple is trinxat, a rustic dish of mashed potatoes, cabbage, and bacon that's pan-fried into a delicious cake, think mountain bubble and squeak. And since Andorra has no coastline, local fish like river trout often feature, famously prepared as truita a la andorrana, trout wrapped in pork ham and pan-fried. For dessert, look for crema andorrana, similar to crème brûlée but topped with whipped cream instead of a caramelized sugar crust. For higher education, the country relies on the University of Andorra, UTA, the only public university in the Principality. Founded in 1997, it operates under the European Higher Education Area, Bologna process. University of Andorra, UTA, is small, with only a few hundred students, offering programs like nursing, computer science, and business administration. Crucially, it partners with Spanish and French universities, allowing its students to access degrees from larger European institutions. This small, focused approach ensures a high-quality, personalized education while maintaining strong international ties. Finally, tucked into the Pyrenees is the Madriu-Perafita-Clarer Valley, a massive, stunning glacial landscape covering almost 10% of the country. This valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized as a remarkable example of how a remote society used and preserved its resources over 700 years. It's a living testament to Andorra's enduring connection to its landscape. From its incredible landscape to its impossibly old and complex government, Andorra proves that you don't need size to have a rich, unique, and compelling national identity. It's a forgotten gem, tucked high in the clouds. Andorra may be small, but its culture, landscapes, and history make it feel like an entire world carved into the mountains. It's one of Europe's best-kept secrets, and now you know why. Thank you for exploring Andorra with me today. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we discover more of the world together.